All right, what's good? What's popping? What's cracking? What's happening? It is I, Miss Danny, and I'm back with my girl, Miss Motherfucking Jackie.
What's up?
I know, I like saying your name like that.
Thank you.
Welcome to what is this? Episode
Two.
two of Tea and Key with Danny and Jackie. We are so excited to be back.
I'm
After
excited to be here too. We had so much fun last time.
we did, we had so much fun. We had so much fun. We had a blast. Um, we're gonna give it to you. Maybe not as long as last time, but we just wanted y'all to meet us last week. Now we're old friends. This is
It
what
can
we do.
be pick it up, pick it up.
Right. This is this is what we do. So it's a quick in the middle of the week phone call. About to chit chat over this tea real quick. We have our
Yes.
cups. We're ready. Now what's in our cups? To quote Little Wayne, don't worry about what's in my cup. So this week we're gonna start. Let's just go ahead and get into it real quick. We're gonna start off. We're gonna talk about Miss Tiny and Miss Shekinah, which real quick, I am excited for the verses this week. With SWV and Escape. So, I hope hopefully the girls give us our life. We're gonna talk about that next week. But for right now, we're gonna talk about Tiny and Shekinah. Shekinah went on. I'm not sure of the platform she went on. I don't know. It didn't look like Instagram to me when I was looking at
It
the
looked
video.
like a live, maybe?
It definitely looked like she was definitely live, or maybe the person who was. Oh, okay. So it was IG live. Okay, well
Yeah,
maybe
it looked like an IG live.
so maybe the site where I saw the information, maybe it was someone screen recording it, and that's why
Right.
it's a little janky.
Mm-hmm.
But she went on this live, and it started off super positive. She was kind of like, giving glory and thanks for where she's come and where she's been in her life and her career and whatnot, and kind of gave us, the history. Didn't know that
Mm-hmm.
she started off with Future, so that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course, she started talking about Miss Tiny and saying how they aren't friends anymore.
Right.
And the first part, she was like, Tiny said that she had said that, like when they had that show, that Shekinah made the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I should say no tea, no shade, or all tea, all shade.
It
She
was
did.
pretty shady. It was
She
I
did.
felt it was kind of shady.
I mean, Shekinah did make the show because let's be. I mean, Tiny don't really have the personality to carry a show by herself.
No. And also to kind of had like the freedom to do some things that Tiny just couldn't do because she had a family, she had things that she was watching. So she kind of, had a lot of personality.
Right, and she was still very much, because she was newer to the industry, so she
Hmm.
was still very much raw. Like this, she is who she is.
Right.
I mean, we like watching them fall on what was it, the scooter, the bicycle, whatever they was on, whatever.
Yeah, I remember.
Right, like that was okay. Like it's her. Like we wanted to see what was she kind of go say next. We weren't
Yeah.
like, what's Tiny gonna say next?
Or
Because
how she was going to respond to the situation.
exactly. So I mean, that wasn't a lie, but to sit there and say that, then she went on to say how she spoke out about the recent allegations against
Hmm.
Tiny and Ti, and supposedly she says that Tiny was in the room with her, telling her what to say,
Mm.
and I mean. And of course, Tiny responded, was like, no, I did it. That don't sound right. But right now, I feel like Tiny just really needs to just less is more. Less is
Right.
more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like in this particular situation, I don't know, but I do feel like she kind of maybe shouldn't say, because of the type of allegations too.
Yeah.
You can't, because you don't know. We
Right.
honestly don't know, because I don't care how close, how much you love someone. Most of the time when we do our dirt, and we most of us can keep our dirt to ourselves. So you don't know what them people was doing. And it's like, how many stories has Tiny and Ti been in, and the rumors and things like that? Like, girl,
Yeah.
I guess, but
You know what? I thought the one thing she did, like, because I personally don't get down like that. So I kind of always side eye somebody when they do it. Like she was talking about like how little she got paid for like the jobs that she did when she was working with Tiny's daughter and stuff like that. And I'm just
mhm.
like, I mean, you bringing that up, but you just shouldn't have done it. You know, if you didn't like what you were getting paid, if you thought it was, low, to air them out after you did it. Either you did it because you were saying, "Oh, I'm giving you like a family discount," or you did it so that you could kind of ride the coattails of that situation. You did it. So why are you bringing it up now just because you guys had this rift? And so, I understand rifts between girlfriends is painful. That's a painful situation. But I thought that was tacky. I was just like, okay, but they did pay you. The check did clear. You did accept that payment. So why are we hearing about it now?
Right. I think she was kind of saying it to let us know, either like you say, either like she was giving her a discount, or also like maybe saying like, Tiny, don't look out for me the way y'all think. Because she kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was obviously so new to the industry. And I'm not gonna say Tiny necessarily took advantage of that, but like she didn't have a license.
Right.
So when you don't have a license and you're doing things more or less under the table, sometimes you are scared. She probably could have, and things like that. And normally I do agree, it is kind of tacky to talk about money's made, things like that. But in this, I don't know, in this particular situation, because I don't know, because Tiny can be tacky and messy.
No, I mean, I agree.
Right.
The whole situation, but I just felt like it was like you set enough. You set enough.
Okay, yeah. She
So
didn't really. It really wasn't that important to
this
the story.
extra thing. Like, okay, you said enough for us to know you have valid reasons to step away. Why are you also bringing up this for something that you agreed to do?
Right. We get it. We get it. I mean, I wish the best for Shekinah. Like, I want her, like, she could have her own show. She could carry her own show, and we would watch and we would tune in. Like, we've seen Tiny. We know, you know what I'm saying? Like, be quiet. I'm glad that she's able to do this thing on this Sunday, because who knows? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? We don't know what the future holds. I just wish in that situation for Tiny and T.I., this for the truth to come forward. That's all. This for the truth to come forward, and we get the information that we need, and that other people get it too. But any that's let's move on from that.
Okay.
Now, I'm not gonna say I'm a little excited to talk about this next thing, but I'm a little excited to talk about this next thing. This is like a double whammy for me, because one, I'm always here for Wendy Williams shade. I'm always here for it. And two, I love Jocelyn Hernandez. I love her. And when I say I love her, I mean, like, no, I love her.
As
like, call me Jocelyn. Like, I love you. I mean, a lot of people can't take her, and I understand that. Like, there's certain things, like, she does come at the girl sometimes. Sometimes she is disrespectful, but I'm also like, she can fight. So, like, if you can talk shit and you can fight, like, hey. But then she is a filthy mouth like a man, and I appreciate that. And just the rumors of things, the stories, I love you. But when I watched this clip, first of all, she looked fabulous.
She looked beautiful.
I will say I almost agreed with Wendy for a second, because I was like, oh wow, this job, like, until she started talking. Until I was like, okay, because once she started talking, she really, and I was like, okay, that's my boo. She came straight out the gate with it. Like, Miss Wendy, and then I love how she was still calling her Miss Wendy, because she pointed out she's 35 years her elder.
Which Wendy was like, okay, sis.
35 years her elder. Ma'am, Miss Wendy, ma'am. You don't be giving the girls their flowers, and you don't. You don't, Miss Wendy. You're very messy. You overstep. Everybody knows this. Yeah. And I love, because Wendy was getting annoyed.
You know what I thought it was so funny? Like, Wendy, at the end, Wendy had like her commentary, but I thought it was so funny because that was definitely not the Wendy that we grew up with. That was not radio Wendy because she was like, just like, she just let Jocelyn have it. She was like, okay, and she tried to smooth it over. She was like, let's look at your shoes,
She asked a few times for them shoes.
right. And that to me, I was like, okay, maybe Wendy's maturing a little bit because old Wendy would have pulled out like every receipt she had, and but she just kind of.
She's older,
And maybe she respected her, like you said.
She did, and she was like, and then it was like every chance. I mean, basically, and like we all like, she wasn't wrong. Jocelyn wasn't wrong.
No.
Like, but I live for it. I absolutely live for it. And I mean, if it was cute, and then she was like, I have the number one show. When you have the number one show on Zeus, and then she came and she was like, I'm sure you don't know how to work that streaming app. And I was like, ooh. And then when she was like,
you're 35 years older than me.
when she was like, you're not with that man now, so you should be happy. I was like, ooh, jab. Okay, I mean, this shouldn't be able to take it, Miss Wendy. Like you've talked too much shit about people. You've said too much, okay, and you don't get that flustered. You get like it might be. I'm not gonna say. Well, it might. Some people want you to hang it up. Some people are truly sick. She's lost a lot of people over the years.
Yeah,
Miss has lost a lot of people over the years because it's just a pure mess fest, girl.
Yeah,
like you're, and it's so. And I mean, I guess it's so much of your opinion, but I feel like, do people come to major network TV shows for the one person's particular opinion? Like, I don't know.
I mean, she had her following, so they followed her. But sometimes, I can't follow you down every road. So sometimes it does come from like your opinion. So now you're just being messy.
Miss Messy Williams. Jocelyn gave me my life, and like she's looking good. Like, congratulations to you, girl. Your number one TV show, honey. Like I said, I love you, Miss Jocelyn, girl. Like, you definitely. And then she didn't know the baby's age. Like, when did she was like, oh, she 4. Oh, and how's Stevie? Who? She was like, who is that? I don't. If anything, what is Stevie's other baby mama on the show? Of course,
Mimi. That was her name.
She should ask about Mimi. Like, how are the girls getting along? Are they playing things like that? She said she's been with that man for 4 years now. What's his name? I don't know his name.
I don't know.
It's like I hear it, but then it's like I don't know it. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then asked about Miss Faith. Girl,
she did a lot.
We talked about Faith last week.
Guys, wait, we have to pause and edit this part because my computer is not plugged in and it's gonna die in a second. So give me 1 second. We're talking about Wendy and Jocelyn. And Wendy was just being shady, asking her about all of her, past situations. Mimi, the baby.
Right. Like, and Wendy got everything she deserved, and I don't think anyone is mad. I'm especially not mad. I guess just get it together, Miss Wendy. Like, and we know you've been through a lot. I don't know if you should have. Maybe she needs a legitimate co-host.
Could be.
Could be. Maybe she needs I don't know who that would be, but maybe you need someone to sit there and kind of tell you, like, you could give the girls their flowers. Like, give the children. You don't always got to be so shady. Because eventually, girl, it's gonna be hard for you to find guests.
It's hard for her to find guests. People tell her when they show up, like, why they were apprehensive about being on her show.
And that's given like old school. I mean, I'm in no shade to I don't want to say like Jerry Springer or something like that, but that's given real like it's not not good. That's not good vibes. So, pause.
Speaking of,
excuse me.
Well, speaking of old school, we have a old couple that might be a new couple. So I'm gonna change the channel. And that is the return of Bennifer. Did you hear about this? So we know recently J-Lo broke up with A-Rod, and she has been seen around town with Ben Affleck. And that's who she was engaged to in 2002. And so it's been subtle. They're all like, we're friends. But um, on Sunday, there was a Vax Live. It was supposed to be about reuniting the world, everyone getting vaccinated, and there was performers. And she performed Sweet Caroline. She said it was to her mom, but Sweet Caroline is apparently the Red Sox anthem, and she sang it before Ben got on the stage to present it an award. And if you remember, that's like her way of talking to Ben, right? Because he's really the only one she's kind of written a song for or about. She's saying dear, she made that song when she tried to do a ballad, Dear Ben. Like that was completely for him. So what do we think about the return of Bennifer? What do we think of this?
Okay, so this take right here may not be what some people are expecting me to say, what I'm about to say right now.
Mm.
I just want to touch because I mean, Jackie, you're a New Yorker.
Yes, I am.
Are you a baseball fan?
I am a baseball fan. Yeah.
I too am a baseball fan. While I am not a native New Yorker, my family is from New York.
Mm-hmm.
And in a weird story I'll tell y'all later, I was conceived in New York.
Got it.
It does have a place in my heart. That being said, I am a Yankees fan.
Of course.
And for her to
Right.
sing the Reds, like I hate the Red Sox. I hate the Red Sox.
For me, I'm like, it's a clear, she's from the Bronx. She's from the Bronx. For me, it's a clear sign of, to me, affection. I'm sorry, I'll call it. I don't like to usually make blanket statements, but
My family's also from the Bronx, so we will shout out the Bronx. If William were here, he'd be happy about that. But ill to the Red Sox, like ill to the Red Sox. But I mean, if they're just gonna be friends, I very much do not believe in going back with your ex. I very much once we're done, we're done. I'm maybe I'm not as mature as some people because some people say,
as far as going back to the ex, I think it just depends. Sometimes it's just bad timing. There's no bad guy. You know what I mean? There's no bad guy, right? So it was like we were kind of a thing. It didn't work out because of timing. You're not bad. I'm not bad. We stayed friends. So let's see where this goes. And that seems to be what they're saying in this situation. Like he says, like, oh, we were friends first. Like when people question him about it, he's like, oh, we were friends. You know what I mean? And
right.
for whatever reason, our engagement didn't work out, but we never had any animosity towards each other, moving forward in our lives. So I mean, sometimes things are timing. Now, like if somebody was grimy, obviously we're not gonna.
right. No, and I mean,
I lost one.
I get that, and I guess like how me in the universe, I'm like, if we didn't work out, even if there was like no particular wrongdoing. All right, it's not.
No, yeah.
And I don't wish you no harm or anything like that. Yeah. And maybe some people can truly do it, and if that's what this
I think as long as there's and when I say it that way, I think it's also like in a way of advice. Because sometimes when your friends ask you, right, you have your opinion on their ex. You're like,
right.
Yeah. Right. But like if they're talking to you about it and you remember the person, you're like, oh yeah, nothing bad happened. Like I'm gonna be like, do you? You know what I mean? It's like nothing bad, no tea, no shade, nothing bad happened. So yeah, okay.
Right. I mean, especially I guess in the case of like, oh, I feel like nothing in high school counted anyway. So it's like, oh, this was an old, now we're older. We went okay,
yeah.
Oh, I mean, I get it. I will say if he's providing the comfort that she needs in her time right now, I mean, then so be it. Mm-hmm. Me being me, of course, I had to check people's signs and whatnot because
they're the big cats. They're the big cats. You know how that goes.
You know, like, so certain signs I feel like are more likely to go back to exes than others. You know, that's a thing. So I'm not. I wish her well in this because it's like also her and A Rod, they bought properties and things together. Like even though they didn't get married, like they were moving, you know, because it was quite obvious to all of us, you know, like okay, marriage has to be next, but they have properties and things together. So I mean, I guess, you know, I don't know if in your relationship you a super prenup, you know, I don't know, or if
Well, they're rich, so you know that's
also
completely
right. Also that so we can just sell this and move on, or you know
they're
whatever.
rich. Yeah, those rich
Because
people have completely different problems than us regular Joes. But I wanted to bring up another one of J Lo's ex. You might not have heard this. This is actually the ex I thought she was going to call up, but that's a different story. So Diddy, let's change the channel so we can get Mr. Diddy.
uh,
Diddy has changed his middle name to Love. Now, he's been doing this a lot on Instagram, talking about it, but he officially, we saw on a Florida license, changed his middle name to Love. So now, do we think this is a transformation of his? Do we think it's a publicity stunt? Did I say that correct? Publicity stunt. What do we think? Do we think this is like Usher Bucks? Like what do we think's happening here?
um, which first of all, Diddy and the Vegas residency though, put a pin in that. As long as he's not gonna give us like a reggae album or something, like don't switch genres on us or anything. I think would we like some music from Diddy? Yes. I mean,
Music from Diddy.
I feel like we would. I feel like the thing with Diddy and his music, he gets us because we're curious. It's you know, it doesn't happen a lot. He doesn't show up too many places.
Right.
We obviously respect him, so we're gonna be like, okay, you know, what are you talking about, Diddy? But he's really been on some what is it? What was they were calling him out for the hypocrisy, low key, black capitalism and wealth and things like that. And
they were like, Diddy, you are the man. You are the man. They were like,
there was this right, like we had this huge discussion in the group in our group, the Derelict Collective. Find us on
join
Facebook,
us, follow us,
Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. How Diddy has, for lack of a better term, screwed over a lot of his artists. And I'm not gonna I don't want to dive super deep because I don't feel like I'm the one to really discuss contracts and music contracts and law and stuff like that, because you know old William would be like, well, they didn't have to take the deal. No, they didn't have to take the deal. But
they didn't have to take the deal.
When you just are trying to get up out of your situation, and all you see
looks good.
And it's at the time puffy, you know what I'm saying? Like you're like, okay. I mean, it's just a long list, and I feel like it's almost a joke to some people. Like, oh, like would you sign a bad boy? Like no one's like, no, I'm not gonna sign a bad boy. I'm not gonna sign a bad boy, and I don't especially have any musical talent.
I mean, you know, you got to look at it under a certain lens, right? He's not the man as much as some people are the man, but I think the way he presented it was like, I'm walking with the people, and they were like, well, you sprinted ahead of us a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? I think if he had presented it a little bit differently, it would have been taken a little bit differently. But he's still like Harlem World, and they're like, that's not what happened. That's not what's happening anymore.
We saw it. We were there. We remember. So that's why I'm very interested. Like, is this maybe if it's not music, is he about to start a new movement?
That could be. That I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. But I wanted to talk about one more Harlem resident before we move on.
So, Harlem on the rise. Okay.
Harlem on the rise. And that is going to be Chrissy Lampkin. She just turned 50. Did you see Chrissy's dress?
First, yes, I saw that dress, honey. She looked good. She looked good. She looked the fuck good. Okay.
Oh, she looked
Okay.
beautiful. She looked so good in that dress. She had it coming, going, forward, back. She
It
looked
was all. It was.
stunning. She
It
looked
was all right.
so.
It was all right.
So now, before Chrissy, because Chrissy actually really didn't post any pictures of herself in this dress, but like Fashion Bomb Daily, all of the outlets got it. What she did post was a picture of um herself and Jimmy, right? Jim Jones, the
Right.
rapper. So they've been together, not married, for about 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
And she was getting a lot of flack in her comments because her caption said, "It works for me." It works for me. So, I thought it was so interesting because a lot of times, the younger generation, we always are like, oh, it's the boomers. The boomers are closed minded. The boomers have so much to say. But, my mom's not following Chrissy on Instagram. So this is Gen Z down to the Zoomers,
Mm-hmm.
judging
Mm-hmm.
her on how she feels she should conduct her relationship. So I was like kind of surprised at like all the kickback, that she was getting on it. And what did you think about
So I was surprised, and there was an outlet in particular.
it?
I can't even full say. I can't even recall, but it's the kids Monty,
Mm-hmm.
and he really read Chrissy to the point where it was like to me like
Right.
she didn't deserve all that. And I people like, oh, Chrissy start like, first of all, I respect, like, if you got hands, if you
Mm-hmm.
talk shit and you got hands,
There it
I
is.
respect that.
There it is. And we
Because
saw that.
that's
We
the
saw when she threw
problem.
that girl, she threw Kimbella.
And we have to remember, because she's 50 years old, she comes from a time where
Mhm.
I understand that me talking shit means I have to throw the hands.
There it is.
And she didn't conform too much as we move forward, and I respect that old school thing. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I definitely, in the beginning, because I felt like we thought maybe that Chrissy did want to be married, and
Right.
so
She proposed to him on the
right,
show. Yeah.
right,
That was
and
like their opening scene to us.
so it's like, okay, pushing for the marriage, it was like their storyline, and so we really, and I guess we just want to know that she truly came to the conclusion, like, I love this man enough, he makes me happy enough,
Right.
which that's ultimately the main thing, is her happiness.
Right.
Our opinions can make a fuck. Her happiness is too much to walk away from the situation, because most of us were like, if he's not giving you the ring, and he's not whatever, then you leave. So
But
we
again,
have
also I want to say that that's rich people's problem. Like, like, or a rich people situation. Like a lot of times I think it's so interesting, like younger people, we talk a lot about social constructs, right? Everything a social construct, like your sexuality is a social construct, gender is fluid now. All of these things are social constructs. But I think people don't realize sometimes how much marriage is a social construct. Like if you remove certain elements, if you remove a religious aspect from it, something like that, this is about your social status. But
right.
like Chrissy is rich. She doesn't have to be married to Jim for health insurance. You know what I mean? So a lot of times people, before they make the end, please, I am for the sanctity of marriage. So I'm not anti-marriage. But I'm
Don't
just
come
saying,
for
it's like
us.
you gotta look at everyone's situation. That everyone's situation is the same.
I mean, because right, because we certainly we don't question Oprah.
No,
We don't
no
question
one's
Oprah.
no one's like, oh, when you marry a stepman,
I feel like for maybe like 2 years it was a thing,
and
and
then
then Oprah quickly gathered and collected us, and we've been minding our business ever since, and we ain't
right.
look back. Like, and then when she hit billionaire status, we was like, oh well, that's the whole billion in her pocket. So
Right. And a lot, and I'm for I'm for the commitment, like that people can be in these committed situations, and I'm definitely for that, the commitment of a relationship, the commitment of family. A lot of times the things that people are worried about or concerned about, you can do it with a contract, any contract that you put together, and be like, this is what I'm doing, this is what you. But I just thought it was so interesting that people were like so ready to be upset that she hadn't conformed but we're always talking about not conforming. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
the mark of Gen X and down. Like don't conform, stand out, be different. It's like she didn't do this one thing, and everyone came for her on Instagram. I thought it was strange.
I mean, if old Jimmy is slinging her the wood and making her happy, because I'm sorry, like
Other world,
old dirty Jim Jones.
so dirty.
Like okay, but if you know what I'm saying, but if he's doing what he's supposed to be doing at this point, she's happy. Like let's mind the business that pays us. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So I mean, happy birthday. First of all, you look phenomenal. Half the people that's
She
coming for
looked
her
phenomenal.
could never,
I could have cared
could
less.
never.
If
Okay,
when in that dress, I could have cared less.
girl, right,
Cared less, say less.
Like if you out here looking like that, you deserve to do what the fuck you want when the fuck you want to do it. Like, girl,
But I heard there was another long-term relationship,
so
an engagement of I think it was 8 years, or they were working on getting married. They had been together for 8 years, and I heard Drake busted it up. I heard Drake.
Right, we about to turn the channel on Chrissy and Mr. Jimmy. So word on the street, if I heard it correctly,
yes,
Drake reached out to a up and coming new artist, because he always likes to work with newer up and coming artists on his albums. And he reached out to the young lady and flew her fiance out. And pay attention, because when we talk back about this, he flew her and the fiance out to work on the album. When I understand it, maybe it was like a weekend thing. I don't know. The fiance, the young man, was posting pictures, and it was like them on the way. And then he posted some pictures after the trip, and he was single. He went on the trip engaged, happy. He says happy, healthy, safe, secure, loved, like everything. Like he really, he was like, how do you go? You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, and now I'm alone. And I will say that it's one thing when you confirm some bullshit in your relationship,
right?
But it was going that way. You know what I'm saying? And you just got your confirmations that okay, whatever.
Right.
But the worst is when you think that everything is all good. That's the worst. When you think that everything is all good, and supposedly the young lady let Drake smash. So of course, they're like, it's on her. Ultimately, it is on her. Ultimately, she made the choice. She knew she was in a relationship. She chose. So it's a lot of people that are going to be like,
I just wonder, what prompts you to ruin your relationship over Drake? Like, what?
And so here's the thing. It's not like this is 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when we knew our celebrities, but we didn't necessarily know all the dirt. You know what I'm saying? Right. And they might pop up with the girl and stuff like that. Drake is a known fuckboy. Y'all can feel how y'all feel. I don't care if you Drake lovers, you Drake fans out there. He's a fuckboy, and we know this. He's a serial fuckboy.
We're one of our producers is giving us the prompt that it's a lot of money, which I mean, yes, like, it could be a money situation. It could be an indecent proposal type of thing. But the thing is that that's a lot of money to ruin your relationship over. Like it's like, now if she's already going, that's different. Like if she
right, because I also feel like if it's an indecent proposal type thing, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm about to hit this lick. You know what I'm saying? Like you might feel away, you might be mad, but I promise you, in a week or two, right?
That wasn't
gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. Like, and I'm not gonna hit that lick and then don't say nothing, and then you know what I'm saying? I mean, no, I don't.
So it's not. It wasn't like, oh, she ruined her relationship.
This man obviously, you know what I'm saying, loved her. I get it. So I'm just like, okay, but I also, but here's my thing too. If you're truly about your business, and I understand that things happen in the industry. I get that things happen in the industry, but this is your first big call. This is your first big call. You about to be on the Drake album. Like, I don't, but then again, I mean, this could be the thing, though. because we're talking about you, people are gonna look you up. Yeah. So this could, I mean, right.
And
so
now
this
you've tainted yourself as well.
We're gonna watch and see. Yeah. We're gonna have our eye on this situation because I want to see if it's gonna work. If it works out for her and she gets more placements, and
that's, I mean, I guess, I mean, I don't want to be that person, but that's kind of how like the Kardashians got on. It was like one, you know, salacious moment made them famous.
Is it a video that, I mean, drop the tape, I guess, but I don't
it's like one moment made them famous. So it does happen, you know what I mean? It does happen. I just was like surprised. I was like, I mean, to me, maybe it just wasn't as good as maybe their relationship standing wasn't as good as he thought.
I will say, because he was definitely the one saying these things, so she could
her to just be like, I'm out.
But my thing is, if I have my information correct, they had a wedding date though. Like they was engaged.
It's just strange because how bad could it be? Because she wasn't like, oh, let me go by myself. You know what I mean? She didn't go do the record by herself. She was like, you gotta fly my man out too.
So, like, that's why it's wild to me on Drake's part though, because whether she asked or whether he knew, because those are the little details that definitely make a difference. But that's the wild part. You knew that her man was there. And I mean, I get it also too, like you're Drake. So I mean, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, unless security was right there, you know, the whole time or whatever, like you can get this off because you're Drake. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's wild. Like, I don't know, like, get that man some money. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like that. I feel like at least, like, you know what I'm saying? Break him off a little bit. If she got $1 million, at least give him half, give him something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Free concert niggas? Like, I don't know. Like, put him on the VIP list for the release party. Like, I don't know. Like, oh, what's his liquor? What's his liquor? Virginia Black? Send him a couple. Does he still got that? Send him some bottles.
A case.
Right. Like, it's just been
sorry to this man. That's what Drake said. Drake said, sorry to this man. I don't know him. Even though I flew him out.
Who is this man? Right. I don't know him. Like, I thought that was her homie. Like, I didn't know.
Her brother, cousin.
Who like say what? No, it's been an interesting week. Next
I'm glad I got to share it with you.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait for next week to talk about this battle. The outfits, who was a mess, who was not a mess. I have faith in you, Candy girl. Candy, I have faith in you. Please. Are you SWV? Are you team SWV? Or are you team Escape?
It's such a hard call. I know Escape probably has more hits.
I don't know.
I do love SWV. So it's just a very hard, and I think that we have that problem every time something that hits is deeply nostalgic, and they're like, pick, and it's like, what? So it's very hard. It's bad, and it's, you know, a lot of the music is just from like a time in your life where you were forming. So all the songs mean so much to you. So.
Oh, right. Well, you all know
I don't know. And it also depends on what they, you know, it also depends on what they do. Like, because if Candy is like, oh, we can also use songs I wrote.
Now that, I mean, but you know, SWV, they got a Michael Jackson feature. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got
like if it seems like we also throwing out songs we wrote.
Brain, like, you know, they got some, you know,
I mean, you could love SWV, but if they're like, we're also playing songs we wrote, then
good luck. Girls, let's bring please, just bring the fashions, give us something to talk about. We will be back. We thank you so much for coming and kicking with us. We hope you enjoyed it. We love running our mouths. Thank you so much. You ain't got to go home, but you can't, you know what I'm saying, stay here. We hope that you'll come follow us. Again, the Derelict Collective. We're on Facebook, Instagram, IG. We have a page, we have a group.
We're on Twitter.
Right, we're on Twitter. We're everywhere. So come back and T and Key with us some more next week. All right, y'all.